Let's do a quick run through just to see that it's all working. Blah blah blah. Okay, so we go here. We go to the bar. Oh, I need to we gather our party. Put our party. Go back to the king. Gives us money. Gives us the earth gem. We head out. Alright, I'm gonna head out. So look, we can't get to the fire temple anymore. Blocked off. Go to the earth temple. Have our little cutscene. Nice. We fight our way through the temple. We gain hopefully at least 3 levels. We fight the boss. We talk to everyone. We decide we're gonna get rid of the cleric. We get the water gem. We head back. They tell us we should go to the bar. We go to the bar. PJ says the healer's gone. We talk to everyone at the bar. It asks us, are we ready to leave? Yes, time for bed. No, I want to chat more. Yep, time for bed. Go back to the inn. Got our party members to talk to. Or not talk to because they're sleeping. We stay. We say, let's go to the king. We talk to the king. We tell him we've beat the Earth Temple. He goes, guys, use my ship. We have access to the ship. We get on the ship. We sail the 7 seas. We reach the water temple. We go in the water temple. We skip the water temple. Into the door. We beat the boss. We talk. We say, alright, I think the rogue should go. Rogue's gone. We check the inn. It doesn't let us in. I think a drink would do me good. I want to go to the bar first. Okay, so now TJ, the last member we got rid of was the rogue. So you should say something about the rogue. Only 2 of you left. Hey, where's your rogue? She still owes on her bar tab. Beautiful. Look, she's in a slightly different position than she was before, but she's still just sleeping. Also, the dialogue is still about the Earth Temple. Sounds like that water temple nearly dampened your style. And yeah, it's time for bed. We try to leave. Says, sorry, that's it for tonight. We go back to the inn. Yep. And he says, let's go to talk to the king again. So we go, talk to the king. You know, we might do some shopping, buy more weapons, buy new armor. You've conquered the water temple. Yep. Gain access to the fire temple, you will need an airship. I don't have one. Cool. I take it you have the fire gem. Yes. Sweet. And then what does he say? Use my airship to gain access to the fire temple. It will be outside. Okay. So when we leave, look at that. There she is. Look at, whoa, it's so fast. What the heck? Why is it so fast? Cool. So we have the airship. And look, we have access to the fire temple. Hooray. So yeah, that's our progress today, guys. So hey guys, it's me, Phil from Arlet Games. We're here again. It's Thursday and we are making using RPGMaker MV. For those of you that may be new here, this stream is all about making an RPG in RPG Maker. We're trying to make it simple and we're trying to learn. I'm trying to teach you as we go. And yeah, if you follow the stream, there's a link to a Google form that will allow you to add an NPC to this game. Yes, if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. You will be notified whenever I release a new simple RPG video. Guys, we've been powering through. We're still working on building out the skeleton of this game. We've hit some exciting little milestones, I guess, because we've gotten to the part where we tried seeing if the mechanic of leaving a party member behind and you choosing which party member that was going to be was going to work and how it would affect future dialogue and stuff like that. We're going to keep powering through. We started the water temple. We're going to finish it today, and it means we're going to give up. Make it so that you can give up yet another party member. And this is where it's going to get a bit more interesting because we need it to give choices based off of the previous choice that we've made. So this is where it's gonna get a little bit tricky. Not tricky, but it's just gonna take a bit longer. Let's stop looking at my face and get right into it, shall we? Let's have a look at what we've been doing so far. Let's have a little playthrough. Have a squiz. So this is what you can make, guys, because all of this that you see before you so far is all made with the base engine of RPG Maker with no plugins, nothing like that. This is all possible. Always fun to see some basic RPG making, especially when all I've been doing is working with note tags, plugging command and parameters. Right? Sometimes it's nice to take a step back and, you know, reflect on a much simpler time. Back in my day. So we've got we've made a text scroll, and an opening cutscene, got a parallax background. We've got our tutorial area. We don't have a garishly purple menu or text box anymore. We can talk to people. We've got music. Oh, we are going to be changing some things up a little bit. We've got NPCs. This is Coco's NPC. So this is what this could be you in the game. And you can have your own dialogue. Please don't tell my owner or else he will turn me into glue. Complete with interesting sound effects. Thank the Crust for the black window skin. Thank the Crust. The Crust is bleh? The Crust is a place name, but also a reference to deity. Thank the Crust. Yeah, look. If you're really savvy, I mean, this is sprite work from VX Ace, I think. Yeah, one of my followers also works in RPG Maker, and they wanted their character to look like this, so they provided me the relevant files, and there they are. So we can try to walk into doors, but then the game tells us that we need to talk to the king. Crust is also something you have if you don't exercise proper hygiene. The crusty crust. The Krusty Krab. Hey guys, it's me, Phil from Alec Games, and I have an itchy crust. No? Hail, adventurer, what brings you to the land of the crust? I don't like that sentence, but it's all placeholder. That's where the itch comes from. I seek the great treasure of the Sky Temple. I kind of give you my blessing. So the king tells us, hey, I can't let you, because the plot of the story is we're a knight that's trying to make a name for themselves, and we hear of this great treasure that you know, hundreds have died trying to obtain, and we think that we can do it ourselves. But the king tells us, hey, I'm not going to let you try and get this treasure unless you have a full party. I don't want you to be by yourself. TJ for the win. Probably the greatest character in the game so far. He's the bouncer of the bar. He looks the same size as me, but he is very tall and very bald. Great treasure just being some cream against that itch. Yeah. Turns out this knight has, like, wearing, well, look at that armor that he's wearing. Imagine wearing that all day in any kind of weather. There's no way you're not sweating buckets and then building up a terrible rash. But look, let's not get too much into the backstory of the game. All right, let's leave some secrets plays to reveal. So we've got our party here in the bar, and we talk to each of them. They tell us a bit about why they would want some treasure. and then they join us, and then we leave, and still just says hello, little one. And then we go back to the king to say, hey, look, I've got a full party now. I've got a full party. We tell him that we don't have any money because he's like, guys, you don't have any equipment. How are you supposed to take this on if you have no gear? So he gives us some money, and then he also gives us an earth gem, which is a key item that we need in order to this is S words, the weapon shop. You can change the name of this shop permanently to something that you would like. All you got to do is, while you're watching the stream, gather up those channel points and redeem them, and tell me what you want to name the shop. So yeah, we're gonna gear up. We could buy armor as well, but we'll see. We're just rushing through this. And because it's the base engine, menuing is tedious, which we can fix in the future with plugins. So we head off back out into the world map. And this is the Earth Temple. So how does this work? You're not very bright, are you? Just hold the gem up to the door. We've even made a little cutscene. So is it supposed to... Right then. Okay, and so we're in the temple. So again, this is all placeholder maps right now. We climb all the way up. Oh, that's something I have to change. I think the Temple Guardian is through here. Okay, let me put that on the to-do list before I forget. What am I saying? Oh no, I did make a note of that. Okay. Make sure you're ready. Enter the door. There's the boss. Again, just placeholder for now. We killed the boss, and it turns into a crystal. You seek to claim the sky treasure? Yes. The trials of the Sky Temple are thus. At each temple you must leave behind a companion, then shall the way be opened. How did you make the supposed to dialogue automatically cut into the screen shake? With character commands. I have talked about it before, but I can go over it again and I'll show you. MZ should have it, I would imagine. I wouldn't think that they would get rid of that. I should talk to the others. So then we can talk to the others and go, well, you know, which of my party members should I leave behind? And then, thanks, it's cool to learn. Yeah. Just remind me if I don't start going into it as soon as this is finished. So then we choose which party member are we going to get rid of? Are you going to get rid of the healer? You're going to get rid of your healer straight away? That's crazy. But you can do it, and it will obviously affect how you play the game. Knowing is half the battle. Take this water, and then we get the water gem for the next temple. That's what I need to add to. Add dialogue for temple to uptown transition. Cool. So I'm starting to keep a to-do list. And this is something, you know, it doesn't matter how you do it, whether you just have a simple notepad open or something, but you know, when you're playtesting your game, especially if you're doing like a long playtest, it's a good idea to keep track of things that you pick up on that you need to go back and change. Because if you just go, oh, I'll just remember it, by the time you finish playing, you'll have forgotten half of it. And knowing or remembering is the other half of the battle. You can know stuff, but if you don't remember what you know, you're out of luck. So yeah, so I've started to make this little to-do list, and it also, yeah, will give me something to do. Not that I'll ever run out of things to do while we're on stream. Cool. So now it's turned to night, as we can see, because it's darker. We've tinted the screen, and because it's night, everything's closed. We want to go to the inn so we can sleep. Oh, but they say, I'm tired, but also really need a drink. I think a drink would do me good. And the dialogue there is based off of which party members you have with you. We've set that up. Yo, whippersnappers still got to learn the shit. I already forgot. Yeah. And look, it's TJ, and he's got some conditional dialogue. So depending on which of our party members we've gotten rid of, he's going to say something about it. Your party has gotten smaller. Where's your healer? I like that guy. So, you know, this is going to help encourage multiple playthroughs so you can see how dialogue is different. And also, so with this bar scene here, after every temple, you're going to return to the bar and you're going to get to talk to your remaining party members. And in these conversations, you're going to reveal more about their backstories, and learning more about their backstories may influence, you know, more than just, oh, I reckon I should have the mage because their spells are so powerful. You might choose which party members you get rid of based off of narratively what you've learned from their stories. I really like these branching dialogues. I'm really liking it too. I like actually implementing it and seeing where I can implement it, and how it actually isn't that difficult to implement either. I mean, as we go further, well, actually no, it shouldn't be that much harder as we go on as well. But yeah, as long as I set it up right and with the right kind of switches, we should be able to keep it not too complicated, you know, so even by the end. You should make the healer an insufferable person, otherwise the healer will be the most retained member. Well, I kind of am, accidentally. You know, as I've been building this, I've been jokingly making him this very sarcastic character towards the knight, right? Like, he's a bit of a jerk. But, yeah, that's gonna make sense. It's not hard. The amount of work just grows exponentially. Yeah. And again, because we're keeping it so simple and because it's still a short game, it shouldn't balloon too much, I say, but I don't actually know. When we get there, we're going to find out how bad it actually is going to be. So, you know, we can talk. We'll talk about the Earth Temple that we just went through. Oh, but they're sleeping. Okay. I need to change that as well to be direction fix, because I don't actually want the mage character to turn to you, because that doesn't make sense. Why are they turning to you if they're asleep? So add direction fix to sleeping mage. And yeah, make sure that your notes are coherent enough that if you don't get to your to-do list for a while, you can still figure out what it's talking about when you come back to it. Because even this, add direction fix to sleeping mage, you know, by the time I come back to this, there might be 100 instances of the mage catching some Z's. So just think about that. I'm sad there weren't more valuables in there, right? So that's... So again, this is placeholder dialogue. I am going to make them talk more about themselves, and we're going to learn more about the knight as well. A knight, because the knight isn't just going to be a blank slate, silent protagonist, and that is something that's more distinct about a JRPG from something like a Western RPG. Usually with Western RPGs, you've got your blank slate character that you can, is usually customizable, so you can make it look like yourself. Whereas JRPGs tend to have a roster of characters that are already fleshed out, that have lives and personalities. Even if the main character still is like, oh, I have amnesia, there's usually still some kind of story to them, making them their own character. So that's what's going to happen with the knight as well. So even the bartender is going to have unique dialogue, talking about your missing party member. But that's just placeholder. It's the same thing that was said. So I need to add a dialogue here, because right now when I leave the bar, I just leave straight away. Whereas I need to make it ask you, are you sure you want to leave? Because you might accidentally walk out. And once you walk out, you can't come back in. So what happens when we try to go in? Sorry guys, that's it for tonight. The bouncer doing his job. So yeah, and then we can go to the inn. See, and guys, again, this is just the placeholder game right now. I haven't even filled anything in, right? And this has already taken me 5-10 minutes to play. Like, so the game's gonna be reasonably long, not crazy long. Welcome to my inn. You look like you've had a rough day. Your stay is on me. We can say I'm not ready yet because, again, we have another opportunity to talk to our party members. She's sleeping there. Do you think they'd notice if I stole that painting? Where would you even hide it? I have my ways. There'll be fun little moments where you can learn more about the characters and come to... I want you to love them. And there's no particular reason for that. There's not going to be some kind of twist, is there? So we rest, and now everything has turned to daytime. So all our NPCs are wandering about again. Okay, so I skipped that dialogue, but we say after we wake up from the inn that we should go visit the king. Because even though we have the water gem, we have no way of reaching the water temple. We need a way to get there. So we say, we have conquered the earth temple. Yes, I can see your party is smaller. The road ahead will only get more difficult. To gain access to the water temple, you will need a ship. I don't have one. I know. I was about to say I'll give you one to use. So he gives us a ship. So when we go out to the world map, there's a ship. And we jump on. So right now I've got the map looping on itself. I need to change that. Oh, it's added to the to-do list. Turn off map loop. For world map. Okay. All right. Oh, so something, little side note here. So with RPGMaker MV and onwards, MV, MZ, when it comes to, and we'll get into this more obviously when we finishing the game, but you can export your game in a variety of ways. You can make it, you can export it for PC, for Mac, and for like Android. And it comes built in with touch controls. So while I do move around with the keyboard and stuff, the games that I've made and are on itch, you can actually play them on your mobile phone with a touch screen. It's not the controls aren't the best, but it's completely possible. So if you're interested in releasing on phones, although that is much more complicated, I've never tried it myself, but you can release it as a browser game, because that's another way you can export it for HTML, and yeah, you can use the touch controls and play it in a web browser on your phone. Super cool that we can play on the browser on the phone. Yeah, crazy stuff. So yeah, so we've got the boat. And we hop off. Now we've got the water temple. And here we are in the water temple. Okay. Fully lilies. And that's what we've made so far. I don't know if I should do this this recap of what we've made in the game so far every time, because obviously it's gonna end up taking up the whole stream, right? And since you're not using plugins, there will be no bugs on your browser client. Yes. So obviously, as you start using plugins and things that can introduce more problems, amazing. It's not a crazy maze, but it's something. But yeah, when you start to use plugins things, it can introduce other problems. So that is pros and cons of doing that. So Coco, to answer your question, let's have a look at, where was it? In the Earth Temple entry. So here in the Earth Temple event, we're looking at this one here. So I don't know if you've ever used these before, and I don't know if they've changed it for MZ, but whenever you put in that's a backslash, right? A backslash. If I just hover over here, it will give me a list of these control characters, and you could probably just Google as well, or find it on the on like RPGMaker forums or something as well, a list of these. But so I don't know if on MZ, I'm sure if you were to do the same thing, hover over a text box, it would show you those. We do have that. Haven't bothered reading the second half. Yeah, so there's ones, yeah, where you can obviously just drop in the name. That's something we've got to add, actually. I'll add that to the list. Change names of characters. So I want to make it that when you first grab your party and you're introducing yourselves to each other, they'll say, "Hey, what's your name?" And then it's gonna pop up and ask you to input their name. I don't know. I've been I don't know. I'm in two minds about it, because I could give the characters specific names, which I probably will do anyway. I'll give them a specific name, and then when it asks, "Hey, what's your name?" and it comes up with the name changing thing, um, uh, it'll have the name that I've chosen for them there, and so you can either choose to keep that name, or you can delete it and put in your own name. Keep the scope small. This isn't a huge thing, but this is just me thinking about story wise, narrative wise. You know, if I just give the characters names and you just go, "Oh, that's their name," but if you put in your own name, I'm like, well, will it increase your attachment to the characters by giving them their own names? But also, will it ruin the game because you'll call them Buttface or something like that? You know, but again, that's player agency, and maybe it will make it more devastating, because they're like, I can't believe I called this character Buttface after learning their story. I can't believe I did this to them. So it could be funny. So I don't know. I'm still thinking about it. I guess it isn't a big thing. You could do it. Yeah, it's not crazy. Oops. So we'll look at that. But anyway, yeah, so so the backslash and a dot makes the dialogue pause for a quarter of a second. And then there's another character that makes it pause for half a second or a full second. I think it's a good idea, actually. Butt McButtface. Who says I won't be attached to Buttface? Well, that's the thing. It could be very funny if you know, you're like crying. I don't know that my story's going to be that good. My writing's going to be that good that it's going to elicit these emotions. But you know, imagine you're just like, oh, Buttface, no. It could be funny. But this is the command character here that tells it to move on without character input. So if you have cutscenes, so it's very useful if you have cutscenes where you don't want the player to control what's happening, you want them to just sit and watch. But I've said before, the thing you need to consider about using this character, like you know, this is a joke. If you don't read it in time, it doesn't matter because the joke is that he gets cut off halfway through, right? But the thing you need to consider for your players is that reading is the primary way of engaging with the story. So if your cutscenes are moving at their own pace without player control, if they get distracted for a second, or you know, they sneeze or whatever, they're going to miss dialogue if you have it play automatically. So this was probably better used if you're going to have voice acting in your game. You know, so that way the dialogue keeps moving with the voice acting. But yeah, it can also be used to like move through dialogue quickly. Because I think in like jarring, like you could have used it in some spots, like where like the glitches are starting to happen and the text is, you know, kind of writing itself, you know. So if it had, yeah, so like as an example, I'm not saying that it was bad that you didn't do that or anything, but that's just like an example where you could use it, right? And guys, check out Jarring. Just go to itch.io, type in Jarring, JARRING. It's an excellent RPG Maker horror game made by none other than Coco. My game sucks and I should end my career. Look, I was gonna DM you privately, but if you want to have this conversation now. So yeah, so that's using that character. And there's other things it can do as well. There's actually characters where you can make it display all the text at once. So instead of it, again, there's weird edge cases where you would want to use that, but yeah. Is that the trailer for Jarring? I don't know what that link is. Good example of butt face. Watch later. Okay. All right. Cool. Did I change anything? No, I didn't. So that's fine. All right. Well, so that was just a recap of the game, guys. And we've made that in, how long have we been streaming this now? This is like, I've got 10 videos out that are roughly 2-3 hours each. So maybe in 20-30 hours, we've created all of this. So that's, you know, that's what's possible, guys. So let's look at that to-do list. So first off, ask the player if they are ready to leave the bar at night. So we need to go to the bar. The bar at night. Leave the bar. So we need to show text. Are you ready to leave? And then we'll show choice. Yes, no. Now I could make this slightly different so that it is more of a prompt to the player, because they might not know why they need to say, no, I want to chat more. Yes. Yes. Time for bed. Right? And we can, yeah. So we might word that differently because it's kind of, I don't know. Anyway, I want it to sound cooler than that. I know, I want to chat more. So if it says yes, we do that. If we say no, we're gonna make it so that the player takes a step backward. You don't have to add that kind of movement. You could, but I like doing it because it again just kind of signals to the player, you know, you're stepping away from this choice, right? Cool. So yeah, so if they say yes, they'll leave, and if not, they'll step back and can keep talking to the party. Cool. Look at that. To-do list. To-done list. Is there a way to do strike through on Notepad? Probably not. So I talked before about um, keeping track of you know, not necessarily deleting what you've finished, what you've done, um, but um, but yeah, just kind of moving it somewhere else or putting a strike through it, so you can, you know, look back and be like, oh, this is stuff that I've done. You don't have to do it if you're the kind of person that's just like, nope, I want it out of sight, out of mind. You can do that, but you know, if you got a bit of nostalgia, if you want to keep a better track of your game dev journey, then I recommend doing that. All right, let's look at our next one. Transfer XP in VX Ace assets over. So guys, I'm cheating a little bit here. I'm sorry, but we're still technically working within base engine limits. If you own, it's also nice to keep in case you change your mind and want to revert back. Yeah, right. Keep track of changes too. Yeah, and that's more particularly for if you like from your game design document, you've written out all your ideas and you end up scrapping some. If you just strike it out instead of deleting it, again, yeah, like you're saying, you can look back on it and go, oh, I actually want that idea now. Yeah. Now delete all that crap and pretend to have made the perfect game first try and just month. Yeah, yeah, just like I looked at the screen and the game appeared. So yeah, so guys, if you own any other RPG Maker engines, legally, you can use any of the assets from any of the other engines across games, and there's no like copyright issues or anything like that. If you legally own any of the other engines, so I happen, and guys, this is something too. Every now and then, different RPG makers, particularly the much older ones, will go for free on Steam. So a good way to keep track of that is if you're following like RPGMaker Reddit. I don't know if they probably talk about it on RPGMaker forums, but yeah, there's ways to get notified of it happening. So if that does happen, don't think, oh, I work exclusively in RPGMaker MV. Why would I need an older engine? Grab them when they're free, or if they're really cheap and you have money that you want to burn, scoop them up. So I for free have gotten yeah, VX Ace and and XP. And so while I will probably never actually work in these engines, I now have access to all the default assets that come with those engines. And what's particularly good about it is like the music and the sound effects, because then you can double, triple, quadruple your asset library. And you know, so if you're still restricting yourself to just working in the base engine, you now have access to so much more options. Yeah, I grabbed them when they had like a bundle with all of the old ones for like $7. Yeah, never going to use any of the assets. Okay, but you still have them. Good idea. Never thought about that. Yeah, because I just read it somewhere once that you could use the assets across them, and I was like, oh, that's interesting info to have. And then when I saw they were free, I was like, oh, free music, free music. I have XP and VXAs. Yeah, and there's actually pretty good tracks. So I've saved the the assets in a separate folder, so I know where to grab them when I want them. And yeah, I've got all the audio here. Ah, no, I need to get rid of that folder. Don't need that. So what we can do now, here's another thing. We're gonna get a little keep it like that. We're gonna get a little bit into the nitty gritty of your game files, right? So let's open another Explorer file. Okay, so so if we look at simple RPG, so yeah, so wherever you save your project, you can go into it, and all, particularly with MV, with any engine before MV, they work off a system where there's a folder with all the default assets saved in it within the RPG Maker engine or the RPG Maker files, and it just draws out the assets that you use from there. But from MV onwards, whenever you create a new project, it actually generates copies of all of that, all the audio, all the default images and stuff. It makes all of them again, and saves them all in the game folder. They lifted the limitations a while back too. You can actually use these assets any way you want to now, as well, as far as I'm aware. Want to make a game in Unreal but make it look like RPG Maker slop? Now you can. That's cool. Yeah, that's a lot better. It makes me feel better too that I use RPG Maker icons for my Twitch stuff. So that's good. That's good. So yeah, so we've got all these files saved here, and we can go into audio. Now, here's something to know. So if you know that you're only making your game for, like, you're only going to export it to PC or Mac, so when it makes copies of all the audio and stuff, it will make an OGG file and also an M4A file. If you need to reduce the size of your game, which if you're going to upload to itch.io, you'll definitely want to do, and also, you know, this is a way to optimize and reduce the size of your game if you're going to release on Steam as well, or whatever platform. You only need the OGG files, you don't actually need the M4A. The M4A is only there for if you're exporting to Android, I'm pretty sure. Like that's, so when you, so I'll show you this. So if you go to file and you go to deployment, you've got your different, so you can export to Windows, Mac, Linux, Android, and web browsers. You can also encrypt your files, which you would recommend doing, especially if you've created all your own art and music, so people can't just steal it. Although I'm sure there's ways to get around that. But if someone's working that hard to get to your game files, then you must have done something right. There's an option here to exclude unused files. So this is a bit of a dangerous one. Because what it means is, because it's, whenever you create a game, it generates all the default assets, right? It generates all of them. So if you have only used 2 out of all of these songs, if you tick exclude unused files, then it will, when it creates the folder for your published game, your exported published game, it will delete, not from your game project files. It won't delete it from there. It will delete it from the exported version, and it will remove it all. So that can be handy, mainly only if you're working in the default engine. If you have, I think if you have plugins, I don't know. There's things that if you tick that, it can delete things that you actually need in the game because it doesn't know how to check that you need them or use them. Decrypting the default encryption is the first Google result when looking for how to decrypt. If you want to protect your assets a little better, there are encryption plugins floating around on the web, or you may want to commission one. Yes, yeah. So if that's really important to you, go ahead and do that. Yeah. So yeah, I tend to not use this exclude unused file thing because it can just cause problems, particularly if you have plugins and things, because it doesn't necessarily check all the files that it thinks you need. It only goes based off of what the base engine needs. So yeah, try not to use that. But what am I getting at here? So yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Android iOS deployment that is the only thing that uses, and apparently it's quite difficult and complicated to take what it gives you and then do what you need to do to make it accessible to like the Google Play Store or whatever. So while it is possible, it's not an easy thing to do. So just think about that if you're considering making it for a mobile game. But yeah, so that M4A file, I know I'm not gonna try to port this to Android, and so to save file size, which is also important for uploading to itch, because itch, if you're only uploading, your game so that it can be downloaded, file size is important. I think they have like a 1-2 gig limit on the size of your game. Yeah, I think it's a 1 gig limit to the size of your game. If you do make it bigger than that, then you have to provide, it has to be an external link to like your Google Drive or something for someone to download that. But again, that gets kind of messy. So if you want it to just go straight onto itch, you need to keep it under a gig, and you need to, and one way to do that is to remove these M4A files. So if we do type M4A, so I'm just gonna do a bit of cleaning up and delete all this now. And another thing, if you're, as I said before, you can export a web browser version and upload that to itch as well. And so you can play it directly in itch on the browser. If you do that, there's the file size limit of a gig, but there is also a limit of how many files are contained within your zip folder. And so again, you need, if you've got a lot of assets, and there's ones that you're not using, you need to clean that up, because you will have well over 1,000 files within that folder, within your game folders, and it won't allow you to upload to itch for the web browser version. So just think about that. You can request more space from itch. Oh, I did that. Base size is 2 gig. They gave me 4. Oh, nice. Cool. There you go. That's a handy tip. So you can request. So if the size of your game, yeah, but I'm pretty sure in the case of a playing in a web browser version, you might be able to ask them to expand that, but their limit is 1,000 files within your game, even when it's zipped, because it has to, you upload a zip folder anyway. And yeah, so this is one way that you can reduce the number of files in your game folder. And if you're scared of losing these files, just create a backup then before you start deleting stuff. But yeah, we just want the OGG files. That's all that's required. So yeah, so let's transfer some audio over. So I've grabbed the so these are the music files from, this is from XP. Oh, they have WAV? Or did I save it as WAV? I saved it as WAV. So one thing that you might want to invest in is a file converter. I think the one I have was pretty cheap, and like it's just like a once-off payment. So yeah, we're gonna chuck in all this extra music. What's your file converter? Let's have a look. Where is it? Wondershare Uni Converter. I need to stop using browser ones. Yeah. Again, there's probably better ones that you can find, and this does multiple things. It converts video, audio, does compression. Oh, it has a video editor. I didn't know that. Screen recorder. DVD burner. Does a bunch of stuff. Can I dictate the resolution? For like the audio, you mean? Or for what? For both, I think. Let's do an audio. OGG. So you can change the output. These are just ones I've recently used. Yeah, there's a bunch of formats. Oh yeah, you can choose the quality. High quality, medium quality, low quality for video. I imagine it's probably the same. Where's the video? Recordings, pit promo. Change it to M4V. Yeah. Yeah, you can do different resolutions. I don't know if you could boost the resolution. It only goes up to HD, I guess. Oh, for YouTube. yeah, it's got a few options. Today's stream is sponsored by Wondershare Uni Converter. Not sponsored, not sponsored. What if I want a specific resolution like 666 times 999? Nice. Yeah, well, you can shove it up your butt. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. I can just guarantee you that it's already going to be better than what you're currently using. So, what are we doing? My game is 1280 by 1020 and I want my cutscenes to be that resolution. Ah. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. You'd have to look it up. I'm not your mom. But it didn't look like you could set a specific, yeah, it didn't look like you could set a specific resolution. Like it just had preset ones that are like standard formats. Cool. So we've copied over the background music from XP. We'll also, I've also saved the VX Ace RTP, and I'll grab. So it's interesting, right? XP is much older, but it has 64 tracks. Um, and oh, these gonna overlap. They're gonna have overlapping names. Okay, I need to. Ugh, it's so annoying. I'm gonna have to rename everything. Um, all right, maybe we'll do that another time. It's gonna take too long. And you guys don't want to see that. But look, we've brought over some more tunes. Okay, and I was listening to the songs from VX Ace, and there are some that I definitely want to replace uh, for the game. But yeah, that's how you can expand your library. You can press F2 to rename and make it fast. Really? F2? Oh, I didn't realize there was a shortcut for it. I'm always just like doing the weird double click thing or just right click and rename. Wow. And here I was thinking I'd be teaching you guys everything. VX Ace. I'm gonna cool. I'm gonna do that. This is still gonna take too long. But I just want to get the background in music for now. We can worry about putting all the sound effects in later because that's a much bigger list. I'm glad I knew the shortcut. I have thousands for frames as PNGs for my game. True. And you gotta name all that shiz real quick. But guys, if you're getting music from anywhere else, just always remember to keep track of your credits properly. Again, just open a simple notepad, or if you've got a Google Doc or whatever, and just make sure you're copying and pasting like proper links and notation for the various places you need to credit, because you don't want to make your game, release it, and then have it flagged because you didn't credit someone properly. Or the creator themselves finds out and you get blasted on Twitter. Tip, you can put all the RPGMaker RTP assets into your new data folder located in your RPGMaker directory, and every new project you start will have all these files. Ah. In a similar manner, if you delete all the image files and so on from new data, you can create a truly empty project without having to delete all the RTP stuff when using custom assets. Ah. Very good. Man, I don't know if I'll ever be bold enough to start with a completely empty project. That's some big boy stuff. But that's handy to know, because I think I definitely want to make it so that, well, one, so that it doesn't add the M4A files all the time, and as well, yeah, so I don't have to keep re-adding these other RPG Maker assets. Be handy to have them right at the get-go. Good to know. Would have to have preloaded things that I need. Yeah. But once you get some paid tile sets of characters and stuff, deleting the default assets becomes a bit of a chore. Yeah, true. True. And I am thinking about that, right? Because I've talked about, you know, once we finish the game and put it on itch, we're gonna start working. Well, we're gonna get some reception. We're gonna get people to play it. We're gonna get some feedback, and then we're gonna get to work on the HD remaster. I don't know what to call it yet, but it's gonna have all the subtitles on it. Remaster version where we're doing all our own assets. But for tutorial purposes and also to make things easy for myself, we may look at, because I'm not particularly fond of the idea of doing the tile sets, doing the art for the tile sets. It would be good for me to learn, but I think it would be cool to have a tutorial on looking for, looking for custom assets, and going through the process of buying them, making sure they're correct, blah 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 blah. Paid tile sets, because I think there's definitely people out there that could do much better work than I could come up with. But then the difficulty may arise where, because I might want to do my NPCs custom, that I need to find a tile set that will mirror closely to the art style that I'll be using for the NPCs and stuff, because otherwise it's gonna look like it's not gonna feel cohesive. Cool. All right. Well, look at that. I managed to talk my way through changing all those names, and now we can chuck all that in there. Cool. Beautiful. But yeah, it's interesting, right? Not Windows XP, RPG Maker XP. It's 64 tracks, and then VX Ace, which came later, has, and even MV has far fewer tracks. It's interesting how companies, as they go on, they go, well, can we get away with less? Can we still provide a reasonably robust engine without having to provide so many default assets? Cutting corners. Cool. So now we've got all that music there. So when we're making our new maps now, so like, yeah, we can we've got more songs to choose from. Personally, I've been using Lowe's characters and Battler on itch, and using win-lose tile sets also on itch for my games. They're pretty feature complete, so there's no reason for me to use RTP anymore. I think those two go well together. Okay, nice. Yeah, so look that up, Lowe's or win-lose, and they're just on itch, so you can just look them up. Lowe's stuff is awesome. Yeah, I've never actually spent any time looking at paid tile sets or anything. I think in my mind, I'm like, you know, if I spend this money on this tile set, then that means the profit of my game is now -$5 because I'm not going to recoup that cost. But yeah, I guess if you think of it in the way that if you're going to use those tile sets across multiple projects, and if you just need it to actually make your game look more interesting and unique, uh, then it's definitely worth doing. I think that's the mindset that I get into as well. Is just like, but if I get this tile set, there's other people that will have bought this tile set. I want my game to look truly unique. I say as I've never actually created my own assets. I'm considering doing what Low is doing and remaster the RTP characters into my art style to sell. Oh, yeah. Um, You know what? Let's have a squiz. I'm curious as to what these guys look like. Oh, that's my dashboard. Look, guys, I made money one time. So who is it? Low RPG Maker. Is it this guy? You can't sell those. Oops, thanks for the heads up. What? Even if you redraw the whole thing? So look at this. He's got free. You got free monsters. And so that's the other thing too, though, right? Is if you do start getting into custom artwork, you need to make sure that you find someone that either, well, yeah, you've got to find either multiple artists and their styles work together with one another. Um, like this art style's relatively close. Well, no, the RTP is quite different. But you know, it's you've got to think about how it's going to look in your game when you do all this stuff together. Yes, they are original characters owned by RPG Maker. Ah, you cannot sell an original character of someone else just because you remade it in a different style. True. Yeah, don't go ripping off my boy Harold. Um, yes, that's what Low does too. They're free and you need to own the respective engine. Right. Yeah. Yep. But yeah, look, he's got a bunch of stuff, and when it's on sale, you can get it pretty cheap. Um, yeah, so if you're not really liking the chibi art style, you want, you know, more normal looking, normal looking, you know, looking characters, then you can get all that stuff there. And who's the other one? Winlu. I'm curious to look at these tile sets. Winlu. Wow. Ooh. Okay. Yeah. These are nice. These look really nice. Oh, I think I've seen Winlu on maybe on Reddit, advertising this stuff. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So yeah, so what's important is that you find tile sets that are like fully fleshed out. So like here you can see when it's not changing that it's got um like because when you're plugging the tile sets in, they have to be set up a certain way. Like so even though you know you can see this tile set looking like this, the actual art itself um will look quite different. let's see. Yeah. So yeah, so even though this looks like this, the tileset looks like this here, the actual file for it is set up like this. So that's why I'm pretty scared to do my own tilesets, because this can get quite complicated in making sure you set it up properly so that when it auto tiles, it actually looks right. Um, so yeah. What are you guys saying? So they're free, but yeah, I own the entire low library as well as commissioning the guy for my own original characters. Oh, cool. Low is one of the very few people doing animated side view enemies. That's cool. In Canada, I believe you have to change something by 27% to get around copyright laws. Or something like that. Winley has RPG Maker formatted tile sets, yes, as well as other engine formats. He also has a ton of event graphics to use as decoration. Absolutely worth the price. Yeah, I mean, it looks great. And again, if you're wanting to step away a bit from the anime aesthetic, this definitely has a much more grounded look to it. And there's even sci-fi stuff. Yeah, but yeah, this is like, I don't know whether I'm just being stingy about it. I need to swallow my pride with that a bit, but being like, oh, but I've paid for it. Now it's cost me more to make this game than I wanted. There's this, but if spending $20 on a tile set gets me 50 more sales because my game looks better, you gotta weigh it all up. Less neon green grass for sure. Yeah, RPG Maker devs are always cheap. that's what that's part of what drew us to RPG Maker in the first place. Yeah, I'm not offended by that at all. That's a very accurate very accurate description. Cool. Well, that was a fun little sidetrack. What's still on our to-do list? Change initial bar cutscene. Yeah, we won't do that. We won't do that today. That's fine. We don't need to do that. Rogue is a she. Change the dialogue accordingly. Yes, I've gotten into the habit of, because I originally started off the rogue as a guy, and then I changed it to a girl because I wanted 2 girls and 2 guys, and yeah, I forgot to change the dialogue. See, TJ misgendering. She still owes on her bar tab. Again, this is placeholder stuff, but I need to put that in there, otherwise when I change it, I might still keep it as a he. I'll do this over here as well. Spoiled from decades of amazing people making free stuff for the community, now feeling entitled to everything free. Yeah, I don't see gender. Yeah. I don't see gender, I don't see color, I don't see anything. Cool. So we fixed that. I'll actually delete that one. I don't need to keep track of that. Move mage to be lower on the bed. We've already done that. Remove name from the Earth Temple boss map. Yes. So, when I was looking through the stream footage, so this is something to think about and consider as well. During the cutscene for talking to the crystal, we needed to move the player, all right, because the player stands here to talk to the crystal. I mean, they could stand here, they could stand here, they could stand here and talk to the crystal, but we need them to move out of the way so that the other party members can approach the crystal and be sucked into it, right? So we need to make sure they're not standing in the way. And we could make a movement route, but the problem is if they approach from a different direction, then the movement route we set for them will put them where we don't want them. So what we did is we made it fade out, fade to black, and then we use a screen transfer to transfer the player to this spot, and then we fade back in. But when we fade back in, because it treats it as like you've teleported, even though you've moved within the map, it thinks that you've left the map and come back to the map, right? And so when it does that, whatever you have set as the display name for the map, it's going to show up. And because we're in the boss room, we don't actually need a display name for this area. So we're just going to delete it so that when that happens, we won't get that weird thing where it shows up in the corner. Also, your logic is really flawed. Now I got to make 50 more sales just because my game looks better. I mean, yeah, but the game looking better might just as well give you 500 more sales because it doesn't look like your everyday RPG Maker sales. Yeah, no, sorry. That was the point I was trying to make. Is that using better art is gonna make your game so much better and will probably increase sales. Not a guarantee, because you know, if your game's bad, you still gotta make sure the whole thing is good. But art is a huge part of it. But you've got to think about this too, right? So this current version of the game where it's being built with just RTP, I'm going to make it free. It's going to be free on itch, so anyone can play it. So there's no bar to entry. So in that sense, I feel as well that because it's free, I don't have to put the expectation on myself that it needs to look incredible. I still want to make it look good within the bounds of RTP, which is hard, which can be difficult. But you know, my expectations and the player expectations will be there. You can use the script call gameplayer locate XY, teleport the player around the map without reloading the entire thing. Ooh, that's fancy. We could try that out. Although I need to know what that XY coordinate is. 9,8. So guys, if you're not aware, whenever you just click on a tile and down here, just below the chat, it will give you the coordinates, the X and Y, X, comma, Y. And that's useful for something like this. So, and we can go a little bit into scripts, which I can't talk very much about because I am big dum-dum and don't know a lot about using it. But if we go to our event commands and we do see, it even says it's under advanced. We do script, right? Is that what I'm doing? Am I doing it here? Because I know script call can mean something else as well. Like it's not in the movement route, is it? That's it? Okay. Could you take advantage of tint screen to color grading so that the RTP can look better? Yeah, and look, even for my game, The Pit, I am making it using the RTP. I'm tweaking some things, and one thing that I've done is, and you can use Asprite, you can use, if you have Photoshop, whatever you've got, you can open those tile set files, and you can change the values of like the color. You can change the color grading there. You know, you can desaturate it, which is what I did for The Pit. I wanted everything to look dark and dreary, so I just desaturated everything and made it darker. I'm big dum-dum too. There are little calls like this one that are really, really handy. Yeah, it's definitely worth learning some little things here and there. And I think probably the RPG Maker forums are good for stuff like that. Hey there, how's the game making going? Maximum Sharpie, thanks for coming along. We're doing good. We're kind of jumping all over the place this stream. It's a bit of a variety of things we're covering today. You just use the regular script button. Cool. But yeah, how's your day going? So what's the script called? Dollar. I could just copy and paste it from the chat, but it's annoying. Game player dot locate x comma y. Oh, but we don't want x comma y. What was our? I can't remember what the numbers were. We'll just do this for now. This placeholder, and I need to make sure I put that semicolon at the end. Cool. So we want the player to move here. So it's 9-8. 9-8. We go 9-8. And we'll delete that. And apply. I still wanted to get rid of that display name anyway, because you're still technically on the second floor as you move into the boss room. Still waking up, working on the dating system for my game. Ooh, an East Coaster. Are you assuming that because they've just woken up? So is the dating system the main focus of the game, or is this like a side thing? I actually don't know your life. Total assumption. Yeah. I mean, everything's east if you travel far enough, right? It's all relative, isn't it? Well, no, I guess if we're talking about America, yeah, there is actually an East Coast. Anyway. It's facing east. Cool. Let's see if that script works. Let's see if Harlequin knows what he's talking about. All right. Is it this one? No. This one. There we go. Cool. So, oh, it worked. There I am, right over there. Beautiful. Sweet. Well, we'll keep that one handy for sure. Thanks for that, Harlequin. Maxim Sharpie, thank you so much for the follow. Greatly appreciate it. If you weren't aware already, there is a pinned comment. If you click on that link, it'll take you to a Google form. It just asks you, it's just some stuff you fill in. You fill that in and it will tell me about the NPC that you want in the game. And I will put your NPC in the game. So, yeah. Harlequin isn't a fraud? Yeah. Shocked. Cool, so that worked. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah. And if you do decide to come to more streams, racking up those channel points, you can redeem them to do different things within the game. But also to, like, if you want your NPC to have a house, you can save up the points for that. All that kind of stuff. Save your game, please. Yep. Thank you. I'd be shocked too. Oh, that's neat. Thank you. Yeah, no worries. Cool. So, yeah. What are we? All right. So we've done that. Cool. We did that. Add dialogue for temple to hubtown transition. Okay. So I want it so that when we head off. Oh, I did this poorly. Did I? No. But it's just gonna be annoying now. So I wanted to add some text between us leaving the I can't remember. If you use fade out, you can still see text boxes, right? When you do fade out, because I know it hides the map screen and your players and everything. But does it hide text boxes as well? I can't remember. But we want it to say you leave the Earth Temple and head back to. I need a name for the hub town. We need a name for it. Crust City, Itchy City, Rashville, Tennessee. You leave the Earth Temple and head back to the hub town. So we just want a little transition dialogue. TJville, get out of here. Get out of here. Turns out you're actually the king, trailer. But you're so down to earth that you love hanging out with the common folk, that you hang out at the front of the bar. Arlic Asylum. Welcome to Arlic Asylum. All right. A man of the people. Yeah. Cool. So we need to paste this everywhere. Oh, where's the other one? Here. Cool. Let's see what that looks like real quick. To actually make sure that it does do what it do. Cleric, yep, we'll get rid of you. Oh, cool. Yeah, so it does turn up. Leave the Earth Temple and head back to the hub town. Nice. Yeah, that's much better. Because it was kind of jarring when you teleport straight to the hub town. Because you're like, wait, why am I here now? What? Aren't we going to talk about this? Cool. So, yeah, sweet. That's that. Cool. Add direction fix to sleeping mage. So that's in the bar at night. Got the mage. So direction fix. So remember, if you don't want your NPC to move when they're interacted with, you need to hit direction fix. Cool. And so that's that. Turn off the loop for the world map. So so at the moment we have this looping. Also, why do I have this on? Get rid of that. Bye-bye. So I want to turn off the looping that I have so that the player has to actually travel around to get to the water temple. So we fix that. And we did that. Now, changing names of characters. Let's implement this now. So is there a way to disable a player from accessing the menu? Because if I give... Oh, actually, no, it doesn't matter because I'm going to give the characters actual names. So No worries about that. Oh, does that mean we need to change the bar cutscene? Maybe we won't do that today. We'll do that another day. We'll do that another day. Yes, there is an event command for that. Right. That's right. We'll leave that. We'll leave that for now. We'll tackle that another day. Because yeah. Anyway, that's fine. We'll tackle that another day. So let's excuse me. Let's get back into making our water temple. Again, placeholder, not the greatest. What did I have a thought about? Something that I wanted to do to make it look better. Because the idea is that I want to I need to chuck in some, that's what I was going to do. I was going to chuck in some actual tiles because it's like shallow water, right? It's like you're walking on a puddle. So let's just do normal floor. Yeah, see, but I don't like that. I don't want it to look like that. So this could get annoying. I want it to, so I'm going to right click on this and I'm going to hold down shift. So remember, you hold down shift. So right now, if I just click, it's going to keep the tile looking this way. But if I hold down shift, oh, that's not what I want. This one? That's not what I want either. I need to make a big puddle so I can copy and paste from it. Or actually, no, if I select this and hold down shift. There we go. Oh, except I don't like the way that looks either. You know, the idea that I had was that like the yeah, it's like shallow water and it covers some tiles, but not all of them. It definitely looked cooler in my head. What about this? What's this? Yeah, that's kind of cool, but it's too deep. The water's too deep. All right. Well, again, it's placeholder. So we need, where's our stairs? Got our stairs going up. From there. And we'll make, so remembering our temples are going to have 3 floors: ground floor, first floor, second floor. So if I just copy and paste the map, change that to first floor, change that to, oops, first floor, and beta butter. Oh, I want to, so we just got this dripping noise at the moment in the water temple, but I actually want some music. There was a VX Ace track that I really liked. Is it this one? Was I thinking this for the fire temple? No, I think this was going to be the fire temple. Was it this one? Oh, I mean, this is kind of water temple-y, right? Hmm. Hmm. What was the other one I was listening to? 4? No, 5. Nah, this isn't quite water temple. This is more water temple. Blip blop blip, blip blop blip blop blip. Yeah, it's like water. Ooh. It's got Kingsfield vibes. It's reminding me of Lunacid. It's too slow though, but I like it being lower. Dun, 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 dun. Maybe 80? No, 80. 80? 60. No, it's too slow. 70 was good. Alright, that'll do. So was that Field 4 VX Ace? 50%, 70%. Add that there. I mean, I could make it that as you ascend each level of the temple, the music gets faster, increasing the sense of urgency. What a jam. What a jam. Cool. So, level 2. We're gonna get a bit lazier with these placeholder maps. You know, in the Earth Temple, I did try to make them look a bit different, but I'm not gonna bother so much moving forward, just so we can power through. Because again, the idea is just to set up this skeleton of the game, and we'll come back and we'll color it all in properly later. Second floor, and yeah, that's still the same. And we need to make this different because now it's the door. Got the door there, and let's copy the door from our previous map. Oh yeah, I haven't been properly setting up the transfer events either, so I need to fix that. So that needs to go, what's this, second floor down to the first floor. Okay. And this one's going to be, what's this, first floor down to the ground floor. Okay. And that's ground floor back to the entry, so that's fine. Now we need to make it go up. Wait, how did I have it on these ones? Oh, I had it up there. Over there. Make that take us to the first floor. Over there. And we'll copy and paste that. Paste that there. Also, I haven't been changing the name of my events. Tisk Tisk. Will you make an underwater level? With oxygen mechanics, because everybody loves that. Well, oh, it should be 2 actually. That as you progress further up the water temple, there's less and less water, right? Because it's draining as you get to the top. Underwater level. Well, I was thinking of making it that that there's secret bosses, and so after you've gotten to a certain point towards the end of the game, you can actually return to the temples, and as long as you've found like these specific items or something on the ground floor, you use the item and it opens up a like a secret stairway that takes you actually to the basement levels, and then like the basement levels are like, although that would be more work because there would be like higher level enemies, versions of the enemies, um and and then you would go down to the basement and go down like 3 levels again, and then at the bottom there'd be a super boss or something. An idea I have, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It might be something we put in the HD remaster, because I got to think about that too, right? Because people are gonna have that have access to the free version of the game are going to have like the full story of the game. And if I do this HD remaster and ask people to pay money for it, they're basically only paying for, new art. Like the story will still essentially be the same. Maybe I'll tweak the dialogue a little bit, but the story will still, especially from the kind of feedback that I get, if there's things I should change to, make things make more sense or whatever. But if I do this, basically, and they would just be getting custom music, which they might not even like, compared to the tracks that the default engine comes with, because it's going to be based off of my musical skill. So I'm thinking of like, are there things that I can come up with that will be extra with the HD remaster, which could be access to like super bosses and stuff that weren't there before, like what they did with, I think they did that with Final Fantasy 1 when they remade it. I think for like the PSP version, they added extra dungeons, extra super bosses, that kind of stuff. So, and so that would be a way to entice people that have played the original to actually want to play the remake. Okay, what were we doing? This one? Did we already do it? Second level? Great. 100. Yeah, it's kind of fun thinking about this kind of stuff. Right. Oh, so this has to be, we need to change this dialogue to conditional dialogue. Because you might not have the mage in your party. You might not have the rogue. So it doesn't make sense. I mean, I could save myself some trouble and just cut out that dialogue and just have a prompt that says enter the door. So, but it's more flavorful if there's text there. So for the minute, I'm not going to change the text itself, but I will add a conditional branch if actor is that the mage? Mage is in the party. I think the temple guardian is through here. Now I could actually add an else, right? And then if the mage, it is the mage, yeah. If the mage isn't there, then it's the cleric that's going to say it, right? And I could change the text so that he says it in a slightly different way. And this way I don't have to, well, I mean, that's not that much harder either. But by doing it this way, because I could just do, if mage is in the party, have the mage say it. If cleric is in the party, have the cleric say it. blah, blah, blah. But by doing it this way, I can remind myself that I need to keep this dialogue the same in order for the dialogue to make sense. Because if I have three separate if this character is in the party things, a particular combination of the two might make the dialogue sound wonky. If that makes sense, I don't know if that makes sense, but it makes sense to me. So it's just something to consider. So also for this dialogue over here, we want another conditional branch, and this is the rogue talking, and we want to create an else branch. So if rogue is in the party, make sure you're ready. But if the rogue isn't in the party, then that means it's the cleric and the mage. See, so this is where we're getting into a character might speak twice. I mean, that's not a huge problem. So I could make it that. Well, actually, yeah, we'll make it so that the cleric talks twice. Sure, why not? He's really chatty. Right. So either you'll get. So you could get a combination of the mage and the rogue talking. Yeah, is there a possibility to get both the cleric talking both times? I don't think there is. Right. Yeah. I think with the way this is set up, you'll always get two party members talking. I don't know. We'll find out when we test it. So there we go. Some conditional dialogue. There may be an even easier way to set this up. I don't know. Spaghetti code. Sometimes you just gotta do what you think works. And as long as it works, no stress. So we want to enter the door, blah 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 blah, and I need to create the water temple boss room. No, let's just copy and paste. Water temple boss. Delete that. Yeah. Bada bing, bada boom. Delete that. We'll delete that. We'll let's do this in layers. That's gonna be that. Oh, I have to think about that as well, actually. That's fine. Let's do that there. Let's do that there. Need to sleep. Good luck on the rest. Thanks for coming, Coco. Really appreciate it. Thank you again for the emotes. They are so good. So good. And have a great weekend. Have a great weekend. Decorating the boss room. More waterfalls. All right, let's quickly rejig to water temple first floor. To water temple ground floor to water temple second floor. Water temple first floor. Water temple door. And yeah, so that will take us. So we're going to teleport to here or here, 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 here. Teleport to there. Coolies. Now we need. Let's. Where am I? Yeah, so we'll grab our boss. Okay, let's just make sure all that works so far. Let's have a look. Okay, so the map doesn't loop anymore. Map no longer loops. Alright, go to our water temple. Oh, I need to reduce screen shake on water temple door. Okay. Cool. We can walk on that tile. That's great. Oh, this maze is so confusing. Where do I go? Water temple first floor. Good. And temple door. I think the temple guardian is through here. Make sure you're ready. Cool. So with this combination, the cleric doesn't talk because we set up the conditional branches correctly, so that yeah. Cool. Oh. Oh, right. So yeah. Anyway, that's fine. Cool. So that all works properly. Now I need to bring in. Ugh, I need to think properly. Okay, so we're gonna bring in our characters, but we're gonna change their positions slightly. Actually, no, we'll keep them the same for now because it's a placeholder. We'll just keep them in the same spots. There's this one. Right. Cool. So we want a new switch, which is water boss defeated. So they're only going to appear once the water boss has been defeated. We'll change that. On all of these. These guys will only appear if the water boss is defeated. Oh, we also need another switch. no, I just need a new event page to be blank. And if mage removed is active. So again, guys, remember event pages read from right to left. So it will check the conditions of page 2. If we don't have the mage in our party, then it will only activate this event page. It will never activate page 1. So if the mage isn't there, we won't see the mage, and so on and so forth. Cool. So there's that. So we need to do that for each of these guys. Cleric removed, and rogue removed. Okay. Let's pick a different boss, big monster for the water temple. What's something that's really water temple-y? A demon, of course. What about this guy? This guy can be the water temple guy. Why not? He's very water temple-y. Cool. So we've got that. We've got that boss. We want a different sound effect, not the crow. Wipeout! Dun, 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 dun. I got confused just watching you try to navigate that maze. You gotta keep up, trailer. Hey, I just realized I am friends with streamers. You guys can play my game and show off my game on your streams. Well, I mean, you know, you don't have to, but that would be cool if you guys did that. That'd be sweet. Cool. Let's play that. All right, let's keep it as that. That's silly. So we fight the boss. It fades out. We turn on the water boss defeated switch. So that will make all of these guys appear. Well, not everyone, just the players that we need. And it's going to turn off our player followers. Maybe once it's, I can totally play a game. Maybe once it's not RTP. Yeah, you can play the HD remaster on Steam. Player followers off. We're going to have the big booming voice again be like, you seek to claim the sky treasure. It's going to say the same thing. And it's going to prompt us to talk to the others again. Also, it's going to be a blue crystal that appears because water temple, duh. Could it be turquoise? Ooh, maybe this. That's kind of more on theme with the rest of the way the water looks in the game. Cool. So, right. So now we need to make the choices. So this is where it's going to get a little bit annoying. There may be a better way to do this. I'm not thinking of it right off the top of my head, but so who will offer themselves to the water temple? Okay, gotta make sure that this is definitely right. Yep, all the switches we want. Oh, I need to change the switch. So this is the water boss defeated switch. The gameplay location is the same as before. That'll be fine. I'm pretty sure. Right. Let's have a look. So I'm gonna save my game. Oh no, that's a very different positioning. For I just need to move cleric back. Okay. Cool. So what are we doing? So we've moved that. We made that correct. cool off of themselves to the water temple. So we need to create some conditional branches here. What's the best way to do this? Do we do an if else? No. No, we need to do switches. If cleric removed. Yeah. So if cleric removed. Oh, this is going to be annoying. Ugh. So. Not even a year in and already sighing at conditional branches. Yeah. Um, 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 Because the problem is when I change these choices, if I remove any of these choices, it's going to delete. That's all right. We've got a copy of it over here, so we can just copy and paste that way. That's fine. Okay. No worries. So we want to get rid of the cleric option, and we want it to only be choosing between the rogue and the mage. Um. Right, because the cleric's not there. So we need to change the cancel to 3 and still have that default as none. That's fine. So now let's change this. So, so we'll just delete and delete. And we will have this one go here. And I need the rogue. Oh, I should have deleted the rogue one. That was my bad. Rogue. Right. No, not cut. Copy. Copy, copy, copy. Paste. Cool. Ah, okay. So we need to change the movement routes here because it's not choosing the right event. So we need to choose the rogue. Show animation on the Earth Temple boss. Okay, so I need to change the name of that event. So I know what I'm talking about. Water Temple boss. So we've changed that. So we're saying, yep, it'll flash on the Water Temple boss, which at that point it will be a blue, this blue crystal. And then we want the rogue to disappear. Okay. And rogue removed, switch going to be turned on. Remove the rogue from the party. Your offering is sufficient. And then we don't want a water gem. We go take this fire gem. Take this fire gem. Received fire gem. Change items. Fire gem +1. Fade out. You leave the water temple and head back to the hub town. And we need to change that. Yeah, so we'll change that in a bit. Ba-da-ba-da-ba. Ba-da-ba. Cool. So what stuff did we change? We changed this stuff. So let's delete that. Paste that. And right, now we need to change these. So we need to change that to the mage. So again, you know, if you're copy and pasting stuff all over, you really need to go through and double check all your events to make sure that they're all pointing to the right things. Because obviously we've dropped these guys in. There's extra events here that weren't here before. So it's changed the order that these events are placed in. Oh, me so stupid. Actually, no, that's not. No, we don't want this event. I was like, I could set it to this event, but then it would be moving the crystal around. No, so we wanted to move the mage. No, we don't want the mage. Oh, that could be set to this event, actually. Save some trouble. Yeah. Yeah, so use this event when you can, so that way when you copy it into other sections, you won't need to change it because it will always be referring to the the event that you're working in. Cool. So mage removed, remove mage from the party, blah 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 blah. Take the fire gem and leave the water temple. And that. Cool. So that's one possible combination down. Now we need, what's better? If I copy and paste this? Yes. Yes. Copy and paste down here. Now, if rogue removed, and we're going to change the choices. So we're going to change the rogue choice to the cleric choice. And that way we won't have to redo the mage stuff. Just the cleric stuff. So we'll get rid of some of this. We'll get rid of this. And we will go here and grab this. Paste it here. Paste it here. Yep. Cool. And we'll need to change these guys to be cleric. To be cleric. And to this event. Okay. And that's all correct. And that's correct because it's the mage. Wait. Wait. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Cleric. So we can delete this one now. We don't need this copy here. Wait, what is this? Yeah. We don't need this anymore because we've got the cleric, the rogue, and the mage that we can just copy and paste. Right? Okay. Yeah. Oh, look at that. So long. Let's save for the minute so we don't lose all that. Cool. So now we just need our last one, which is to check yeah, check if the oh, that paste. Rogue, yeah. Cool. Which is to check if mage removed. Okay. So mage removed. And we want cleric and rogue. Cleric and rogue. And we're getting rid of. Where's the mage? Getting rid of. What? What? Oh, right. I was confused. I was like, why does it say rogue? Because the choice is rogue, but we need to get rid of mage. And we can just delete that section and come back up here to the rogue and to there. So guys, this is one issue with doing this the way I'm doing it, which is making this skeleton, because now, because I haven't set this up exactly how I want it from the beginning, you know, like there's all this placeholder text, I'm gonna have the tedious thing of when I change this, all this dialogue, I'm gonna have to go through, copy, paste it across all of these conditional branches. So it's gonna be really tedious, and I might miss a section or something. So yeah, so there's a con of doing things the way that I'm doing it. In some ways, it's kind of less work, but in other ways, it creates more work for you. So just keep that in mind if you are going to attempt this approach. Yeah, so that should be it. Now, we need to I don't want to test it yet. Or maybe I do. Yeah, because it doesn't matter that it doesn't teleport me to the right place. We just need to get that far. I didn't save, did I? Damn it. In the boat we go. Maze, it's amazing. You know, I could just hold down control. Get to where I need to go quicker. Make sure you're ready. The door. Cool, there's the boss. Seek to claim the treasure. Thus, at each jump you must leave behind a companion, then shall the way be opened. I should talk to the others. Okay, so look, he's not here. Our friend is not here. The cleric is still missing. So we can talk to them. It moves me out of the way. We offer them. Who will offer themselves to the water temple? Why did the text go away? Oh, because it's conditional. So I need to... Yeah. Because I want that text box to still be there. Because I like it that way. And it's for like consistency. Because in the Earth Temple, when you were presented with this choice, that text box is still there. So I don't like that it's gone. So we can say I'm not ready. We can talk again. And we can offer the rogue. Get the fire gem. Oh, why is that? Why is that happening? Oh. 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 See, this is why we test things. So, right. So what happened then is we got rid of, because your event plays in order, right? It goes from the top through to the bottom. Because we don't have the cleric, it activated this, right? And it goes through the whole thing. And then, but why? What is it? It goes through the whole thing, and because the mage gets removed back here, or whoever gets removed, because the rogue gets removed back here in the event, it triggers, it sets off a trigger within this event page, this trigger here that says, hey, if the rogue is removed, you need to present these choices. And so when this portion of the cutscene ends, it then says, hey, I'm playing this as well. So I need to, what do I need to do? I need to make it so that the removal of the party member happens after the teleport, maybe? Look, we can just test it. Yeah, here on the cleric. Yeah, because once you transport it to the other map, I believe it won't read the other instructions. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. Let's have a look. Wait, did I save? I didn't save, did I? Guys. Do I even know how to playtest a game? But hey, look, here's something we can do, right? Watch this. I can walk on water. Remember, if you hold down control while you're playtesting, you can break boundaries. You can go wherever you want. All right? Just remember that. Handy. Handy dandy. Cool. Look, and we'll use it here. Boom, boom, boom. Skip straight through. Skip straight through. Oops. Oops. Right. So, let's save. Right. So we want the save your game. Thank you. Things will only get harder for me. Yeah. Right. So, in theory, because of where I've placed the removal. No, I did the wrong thing. It's the switch. It's the switch. I need to move, not this. Right? No, I need to move this switch. Let's just put that back there. And cool. You guys, it can get a little complicated. It can get a little complicated quickly. All right, let's try that. Blah, 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 blah. Also, another debug thing, if you hold down the Z button or the action button, it will actually speed up the rate at which dialogue goes through. I don't know if that works in the released version of the game as well, or if it's just a debug thing. But yeah, it allows you to scroll through your text a lot quicker. Okay, so the idea is that once we get rid of the rogue, it will it won't come up with that dialog box when we leave. Dang it, it still happened. Okay. So what do I do? What do I do? You broke it. I did. Are we gonna have to do if else? Is that the way? Is this the way? Is that what I'm gonna have to do? And then nest everything in? This is probably like the ugly way to do it. So we can do if else. Is this? Yeah, that might be the way to do it. So if else, check if the rogue is there. If else, check if mage is there. All right. I think that should work. Now I want to move this dialog box to be inside here. So that way that text box will still be there. When yeah, the dialog box will still be there when the choices appear. Because before that, yeah, it's like moving on from the dialog box because then it's doing this check, this conditional check. So we didn't like that. So now it's the way I've set this up to help you make more sense of it. So we're going to ask, is the cleric gone? Yes. Okay. Do this. No, the cleric is still there. Then else, then we will check if the rogue is there. Is the rogue there? No. Okay. Do this. The rogue is there. Well, then else. Else, then we will check, is the mage there? If they are, don't do anything. If they aren't there, then obviously one of the other ones has been checked. But if they've been removed, then do this. Okay. Now it should hopefully work. Ooh. Wait, why did it do that? Wait, why did it do that? Why did it do that? Why did it autoplay? Oh, did I just... Oh, I must have... Wait. I'm confused. I got confused there. The way you do it is simple, but it results in no actual conversation ever happening. Nobody's talking to anyone. They all just say little bits of text not relating to one another. But I guess that's why we're calling it simple RPG. Really broke it. Okay, talk to the others. Yep, yep, yep. Okay, so will you offer the Sky Temple? Yes, the rogue. But yeah, look, Our sad little party is getting smaller and smaller. We only have the mage and the knight. Everything's closed. Oh. Oh, because it's... And look, only the mage is here. All right. Cool. But we need to fix that up because that's... We actually want that to be a completely different map. But cool, that worked. We got that to work. So yeah, that's why it's important to playtest what you're building often. Yeah, to make, because you know, I could have in my head been like, oh yeah, that'll make sense, that should be fine, and moved on and made more maps and kept working, and then come back and play and then find out that all of this is broken. So yeah, make sure you're playtesting what you're working on often to make sure that it's doing what you want it to do. I bet the mage had the bigger chest, that's why you kept her around. the busty mage. I mean, well, it's not this character, but anyway. Yeah. Yep. She's got a big personality. Cool. So I want to copy all of these maps over. I'm going to copy these maps over. I'm going to change them to night 2. Because this is the second night. So things are going to be slightly different. Because remember, as we progress through the game, our party is getting smaller. And the dialogue will be progressing as well. So we might even have, you know, the you know, the characters in different positions. Okay, so I want this. I need this temple boss. See, this is what's annoying. I now have to go through all 3 of these. I mean, I guess the good thing about the 3rd temple, right, is it's not going to get too much more complicated because by the 3rd temple you will only have 1 party member left. So so you don't even have to well, I mean, I'll still make it that it gives you the choice to say who's going to go the you know, and you just pick the you only have 1 option, but you'll still have the I'm not ready option, so that way you can still talk to that 1 party member before you get rid of them. But you know, at the end they'll be like, okay, I think it's fairly obvious that I'm going to be the one that goes. But even then, you could have this interesting dialogue where it's going to be like the scene from Avengers Endgame. Spoiler alert. You know, where Hawkeye and Black Widow are like fighting to sacrifice themselves. And, you know, so I could make it a scene like that, but obviously no matter what happens, we're going to keep the knight character around. So it's going to be, oh, I mean, I could make it another option where you actually give up the knight character and then you're stuck with, you're not stuck with, but you're left with the one of these guys. But I do want it to be that no, because the way I've got it set up is that the knight character is going to have, because they're like an all-rounder, they're going to have enough skills that when they are by themselves, they can hold their own, because they'll have a healing skill, they'll have elemental skills, some status effect skills. So they're basically a combination of all 3 of your other party members. They're just not as good at it as the others. You know, jack of all trades, master of none kind of thing. So yeah, so I do want to keep it that the knight stays as the last character. But still, I could have this thing where, you know, you're both fighting, and obviously it would be different too depending on which character you're left with at the end. One of them might be, you know, like, oh yeah, no, you should definitely give yourself up, and then at the last minute they're like, wait, I'll go. You know, whereas the other one, they might be like, don't you even dare sacrifice yourself. It has to be me that goes, kind of thing. And that will be more based on the character. And then the mage might be like, well, I have the biggest breasts, so I guess I have to go. So yeah, that's what'll happen. So yeah, so that's actually not going to be that complicated, because all I have to do for this version of the event for the fire temple is check, is this character in my party? If so, do this. So that's actually going to be a lot easier, which is good. Right, so we need to change the transfer event to night 2. Um, and again, this is another annoying thing about building the skeleton. I'm going to go through and change a lot of the maps, or I'm going to change basically all the maps, which means I am going to have to go back through and change all the transfer events to make sure that they transfer to the correct place, because when I rebuild the maps, yeah, it's obviously going to be pointing to a different place. So that's going to be kind of annoying, but again, you know, it's something that you just, once you've completed all the maps, or just as you go, you know, you pop some music on and you just go through and you just change them all. It's not the worst thing in the world, but also not the greatest. So we'll just run through and copy and paste this everywhere. But this is the issue too, right? Is that there's, you know, if you're not concentrating properly, you could miss something and not change it. Cool. So that's going to teleport us to here. Oh, I haven't even. I need to change that. I didn't. I realized I forgot that you can actually leave the map. Yeah, we don't want that. We don't want you to be able to go to. I wish it would stop doing that. Yeah. So I need to actually look, for simplicity's sake. Let's just delete these events here. Transfer events. So you just can't leave. I could make it that there's a dialogue that comes up that says, it's not safe to go at night. Burn it down. So yeah. Um, yes, we can make this dialogue different. This will still be the same. I got to change the transfer events. So I'm going to make that connect to this map. Okay. And I need to make this connect to night in 2. Oops. No. Night 2. Your party has gotten only 2 of you left. Look, let's change your expression. You're crying. Only 2 of you left. And how do we make this different? Oh no, so sad. Because we wanted to only address the most recent party member that you've lost. But to do that, I would have to set up another switch. Oh. See, this is where it gets ugly. This is where it gets ugly. Because I could... Because just having this cleric removed switch, right? It's kind of an easy way to be like, yeah, that person's not there. But if I make... oh, maybe it's not that much more complicated. If I add another set of switches, right, where it's cleric remove 2, electric boogaloo, right? So this just signifies that so this is a switch that signifies that the second party member that you removed is was the cleric, right? So so it's going to get a little bit messy, but in some ways it makes it easier. So I'm still gonna have this switch activate. Don't got to use 4 switches. No. Could use a variable if latest member gone equals 1 mage, 2 priest, and so on. Let me process that in my brain. Equals 1 mage, 2 priest. Oh, yeah. Okay. I get what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. See, there's always going to be a simpler way to do things. And again, if you find something that works for you and you're by yourself, deving by yourself, because this is different. I'm in a room. Well, I am in a room, but I'm not virtually. I'm here with other devs, right? Other people that know how to use this engine, and are probably much better at it than I am. And can share their vast wealth of knowledge with me. So Harlequin, I really do appreciate your presence here. But if you're by yourself and you figure out a way to make something work in your game, as long as it works, do that. But if you take it to forums, to Reddit, if you have a friend that or you know someone that uses RPG Maker and has more experience than you, definitely hit them up, bounce ideas off of them. Because yeah, the way you're doing something, there may be a much simpler way to do it, and you just might not know the way. So yeah, just in this example here, I was going to create a whole extra set of switches, but this using this variable to check who the latest member gone is sounds like it'll be much easier. I don't think I fully understand how I'm going to do it yet, but let's so let's say, so let's do this. Well, first we'll get rid of these other switches that I made first. We don't need these just yet. We can always use the Undertale example. Game's code was garbage. Yeah. All conversations in the entire game have been coded into one single object with a metric of conditionals for the game work. That's all that matters at the end of the day. Exactly, exactly. But for your, but if, but yeah, if sometimes though, if doing something simpler, uh, it can help you in the long run. Because yeah, who knows what that was like for Toby Fox. But again, there's people that have a very messy room and you clean it for them one day and they go, "Excuse me, why'd you do that? Now I have no idea where any of my stuff is." Even it looks like a mess to you, but to them it's a whole system, right? So whatever works for you, like the words of Todd Howard, it just works. Right. Except his games don't work, but yeah. Um, cool. So, what are we doing? I turned off these switches. Wait, why did that delete? Oh, because I need to keep that as. What is that one? The rogue? Need to keep that as rogue removed. We're going to add. We'll try this variable. Oh. Ah. What is that? What do we use that for? We're gonna get rid of that anyway because yeah, we're gonna change that opening bar cutscene. Basically, when you choose a member to sacrifice, you set the variable to their value. One equals three. Whenever you need to check was last, you just check the variable. You're so smart. See, this is the thing. I haven't used variables enough. Like I'll only ever learn enough to do what I need to do, and I won't fully understand the full capabilities of variables. Like I'll read some posts sometimes where they're just like, "Yeah, I do this, 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 and this," and like, wow, that goes like just way over my head. But good for you. Um, yeah, I don't quite have the brain for it yet. So what are we saying? So last member lost. We'll call it that. Apply. Okay. And what are we saying? The three is the rogue. So we would set, because we want to set it to a specific number, and we're setting it to 3. Because I still want to keep this. Yeah, I still want to keep these rogue remove switches because I think there are things. Yeah, there are checks. There are certain events where I want to check, you know, which of the party members are gone, whereas this variable is just telling us which was the last one we got rid of. That's how you're supposed to learn. Learn on a need-to-know basis, and then you just come across these situations where you learn something new. Yes, you designate a number to each member. Yeah. Yep. Can be any number you want. Well, I'll just go with what you assign there. That makes the most sense. Um, so we'll need to go back to the Earth Temple as well to fix that up. So for the rogue, we are setting, whenever we get rid of the rogue, we set the value to 3. So where's the other rogue one? Eric and rogue. Okay, last member lost 3. Yippers. Cool. And then we'll go back to the Earth Temple. And when we get rid of the rogue, we will also change that variable. I mean, yeah, right. Yeah. We'll add it here as well. Then we'll do the cleric. What did we say? Cleric is 1. And we'll add that over here. Cleric. Wait, is the cleric here? No, that's if cleric's already gone. Cleric. Add that last member, last 1. So yeah. So what's happening when we beat the Earth Temple boss and we give up, say, the cleric, it will set the last member lost variable to 1. And so when we talk to TJ, for instance, instead of checking who's been removed, we'll say if the variable last member lost equals 1, then that means the priest is gone. So make a comment about the priest being gone. And then when we come to the water temple and we give up a new character like the rogue, it will then change the variable to the number 3. And so this time when we talk to TJ at the bar, it will check. There will be a dialogue check where if last member lost is 3, the rogue, then you'll make a quip. You'll make a comment about the rogue being gone. So yeah, that's actually a really, really good, much simpler way to do what I was trying to do. So thank you, Harlequin, for that. It's really good. So the cleric again. Oh, rogue removed. What? Where's... So this can sort of be a place too where adding in comments might be helpful because it's like in green text. And so if you want to break up the way your event is set up, so that things are more clearly delineated, so you can say, oh, this is a cutscene moment, this is a dialogue moment. So that way, if you come back to this a lot later and you've got this giant page, you can quickly see green text, stop there and go, what does that say? Cool, that's what I want. I need to be here. But I'm not going to do that because I'm an idiot. So, all right. So that's our 2 cleric ones. And oh, so that could have even made these if statements easier, right? Right. Oh, I suppose it wouldn't have made that much of a difference. Yeah, it wouldn't have made that much of a difference, I think. Yeah, I think having the cleric removed. Exactly, that way you only need to ever check one variable instead of a whole bunch of switches. Yeah. Variables are powerful when you know how to use them properly, which I do not. All right, so now we want to do the mage switch. Number 2. Mage is number 2. So where's our other mage one? Remove mage. Put that switch there. And that should be it, right? Okay, we'll go back to the first boss. And we will... we got the cleric switch. We got the rogue switch. We've got the mage switch. See, it's already hurting me a little bit that I've set the numbers up wrong. This is like 1, 3, and 2 instead of 1, 2, 3. But that's okay. Again, if it works, it works. Cool. So now when we come over to TJ, well, actually, let me fix up these maps first. That's correct. That's not correct. Let's go there. Hello, friend. Nice stream. Thanks, Stop Shot 58. Oh, love to catch your next stream. Could you add me on Discord? Username is Coolig556. Sure thing, man. Sure thing. But yeah, my next stream will be Monday. Monday. But it won't be an RPG Maker stream. Cool. And we need to make sure this goes to the right place. To bar night 2. Over there. Okay. And bar night 2 needs to leave and go to Hubtown night 2. Over there. Oh. So I need to turn off the left the bar switch. Scam alert. Yeah, I reckon. Yeah. Yeah, so I need to make that turn off at a certain point. So when we I need it to turn off here. So there's no way to leave this map, right? When you come into the water temple boss, you have to fight him, and yeah, you have to go through through this cutscene. So there's no way to leave, there's no way you can return to the map. So we need I just like the way you stream. I appreciate that. Yeah, so we can make it that when you defeat the boss, we turn off the left. Like, this isn't going to make any sense. But again, if it works, it works. It's going to turn off the left the bar switch. I can't wait to catch your next stream. Great. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. So because the player is going to be trapped in this room, they can't possibly leave. Well, there's no way for them. Maybe no, let's take it out of here and let's put it in the inn for when it transitions into day 2. So fade out screen and left the bar off. This guy's account was created 9 days ago. He made an account just to follow. Oh, look, it feels so special. Live goals. Yeah. How do you know it's not me? How do you know I don't have? It's my alt account. I just like if he starts saying, "Oh, you're so handsome," like you'll know it's me. Didn't we all do that? Right. Okay. So what have we done? What have you done? So we've made, okay, so we need to make sure that left the bar is turned off because otherwise you won't actually be able to enter the bar. Okay, so we've done that. We've turned it off at the end of night 1. So I should add that to the in here as well, actually. So I don't forget it the next time I copy it over. I think my alt account follows you. Wait, actually? Thanks. I appreciate the extra follow. They're gonna think I'm buying bots. Yeah, truth. Yeah, Stopshot 5A, if you're real, then you'll follow me. If you love my stream that much, you'll follow me. And even more, you'll subscribe. Or you'll cheer me 100 bits. What if they are genuinely not a scam? Well, I mean, I'm not gonna do the Discord thing. That's anyway. Let's ignore that. Let's focus on what we're here to do. This is the first time in a couple of years that I came back to Twitch to watch a stream consistently, and I watch YouTube VODs for the stream. I really appreciate that, like little big poker. I really do. I'm glad this is I'm worth watching live. I appreciate that. All right. Starting to get late. I'm starting to lose my mind a little bit. So, Lamau auto mod. Yeah, I do. Wait, I do have an auto mod. I'm pretty sure. Cool. Oh, so we can test this variable out, right? So we can do if. Oh, so now I need to create a whole new thing. So conditional branch. If wait, can I change it to be a different? Yeah, I can. So if a variable last member lost. What's this one? Where's your healer? So healer is number 1. So if last member lost is set to 1, he's gonna talk about how the healer's gone. Let's slightly change. Well, actually, I don't need to change this dialogue because you'll only, yeah, there's no way to see every single one of these dialogues every time. Oh, I mean, I could make it different as it progresses. Anyway, placeholder for now. Placeholder for now. So if last member lost, who's this? The rogue. They're 3? Did we say 3? Yeah. 3, and then if last member lost is 2. Save your game. Thank you. Thank you. For a second, I thought it was the scammer following me. I was like, oh my gosh, it actually happened. He streams while at work. It's great. Yeah, don't ever quit your job trailer, otherwise you'll stop watching me. You're getting paid to watch me stream. You're welcome. You're welcome. Cool. Yeah. So we've got these. Maybe let's move that around for peace of mind. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Only 2 of you left. And we've got these different dialogues. 45 an hour right now. God damn. God damn. Very nice. Cool. So he's got that conditional dialogue. We can do the same here. We'll just copy and paste these over to the bartender. This time he says, sounds like the water temple. This guy should talk in puns. He should always be like, oh man, sounds like the earth temple really rocked you guys. Yeah, sounds like the water. Sounds like that water temple. Um, got you wet? No, that's not. Sounds like that water temple. Something about drowning. Something about drowning. Sounds like that water temple had you drowning in loot. I don't know. Dad joke character, right? There's always got to be one. I mean, look, if I wrote this the way I really wanted to, without any thought for like nuance and story and all this stuff, everyone would just be doing puns all the time. I love puns. I love writing puns. It's so fun. Sounds like that water temp you had you drowning in loot, and then he'll do some conditional talking again, which again will be different depending on the progress. Then we've got this. So again, this is easy. We just have the switch. Is the cleric removed or not? So only the mage will be here this time with the current. Didn't dampen your style. Oh yeah, that's good. I thought you were just talking to me for a second, like not that you were giving a quote. That's good. Or nearly dampened your style. Cool. Um, I'll have to give you a writing credit in the credits of the game trailer. Um, and actually, Harlequin, you'll have to have a credit in this too, as a programming for programming. Um, let's make a credits notepad programming SG Harlequin. Um, writing. Trailer jury. Maybe you'll just go in the special thanks. Simple gaming is my credit. Oh yeah, SG. SG. Oops. Where are we saving that? Credits. Program. Yeah, that'd be programming, right? That's what you've helped me with. Variables, all that kind of stuff. That's programming. Um. Cool. Oh. Wait. Coco. No, Coco hasn't done anything. He's made emotes for the stream, but he hasn't. Got to keep up appearance of being a professional industry and all that. Of course, of course. Well, if I use the is it because I've got the Yanfly plugins. So I know that there's the credits plugin, and you can actually link the credits, like you can have a credits on the menu pay on the start menu, and I could actually link um yeah, I could have you in the credits and then actually have a link to your like itch.io page, or if you've got your own website or whatever. That'd be cool. Do that. Because we all know that this is going to be the greatest game of all time, and everyone's going to play it, and by having you guys in the credits, I will give you also much fame. Cool. So we've got that. We've got the inn. Oh, and that's why we could walk into the inn straight away before, because the left the bar switch was on. Yeah. Okay. It's actually kind of sad how lonely it gets very quickly in the game. Like, by the time you've beaten the second temple, you've only got one other character with you. Uh, so yeah, because I was imagining, right, like all this dialogue that you're going to be having between you and the characters, but that party dynamic actually shrinks relatively quickly. So you're really only getting to know one character more than the others. But that's also kind of the point. Again, we want that replayability, playing through with different character combinations. Um, okay, so all of that works. So this should take us through all the way through to the third night. So let's just check the inn. Let's check the inn. There's no switches here, right? No. And yeah, we should go and see the king to update him in progress. That still makes sense. Cool. So we need to go back to the castle. And now we've got another switch for the king. Let's copy and paste. And now it's the water boss defeated. We have conquered the water temple. So what if? That's right. We'll get to that in a bit. But I'm wanting to. So I'm wanting it so that you always have to go back to the king in order to. Sorry, Twitch had a meltdown for some reason. If you wanted to put a link in the credits, plug in. Cool. I'll. Let me grab that. Oh, no, over here. What? Credits. Cool. We'll keep that there. Nice. Yeah. So I'm wanting it that So for the water temple, you had to get the boat, and so for the fire temple, we're gonna make it. Let's make it surrounded by lava, right? And so the only way, well, lava, and it looks terrible, but you get the idea. Lava and mountains, right? And so the only way we can get there is via airship. And so the king's going to give us access to an airship uh, for. But then, yeah, I've got to think about, if you've got the airship, then surely you can just fly straight to the Sky Temple, right? But I'm going to be like, have a thing where it's like, oh, there's a magical barrier blocking the way, something like that. Or maybe we have it shrouded in clouds. And then once the excuse me, magic fog maze. Mm. We'll make it that once you've beaten all three temples, there's like a cutscene that makes all the clouds go away, and then you can access it with the airship. I think. Cool. So let's go back to. Oh, it's 10 o'clock. All right. I just wanna do this. I want to. Okay, we conquered the water temple. To gain access to the fire temple, you will need an airship. An airship. I don't have one. We'll obviously change this dialogue. I take it you have the fire gem as well. Yada yada. Set vehicle location. Airship. And we're going to plonk it over here. Right. There's the airship. And self switch C will turn on. And we will copy and paste and change that to self switch C. What are we saying? What am I? Use my airship to gain access to the fire temple. I can probably go up there. Yeah. Fire temple. It will be outside. Ta-da. Okay. So that'll happen, and then we will be able to fly and reach the fire temple, which I don't like where it's positioned. Like, it should be roughly the same as this guy over here. Yeah, over there. Hmm. 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 Sigmire of Katarina. That's the character, the Onion Knight. Hmm. Will there be special enemy encounters for when you are traversing the overworld in the skyship? I don't know if there's actually a way to do that. There might be. Well, cause nice. Because we can definitely set it so that when you're on the water, it gives you different encounters than if you're somewhere else. But yeah, I don't know if you would do like a conditional thing where it's like while in airship. I don't know if it actually turns off encounters while you're in the airship. It might actually turn off encounters altogether. What does this look? Oh, I was like, why does this look so desaturated all of a sudden? It's because it's on the region thing. Okay. How the ground enemies get you? Yeah, right. That makes sense. So it probably is while you're in the airship you can't actually have any battles. Okay, so now it should be that. Oh, where's my sound? Oh, there it is. Okay. So we beat the boss. We'll get rid of the mage this time. All right. So with the variable that we set, because it should be that in the event it has now changed the last member lost to number 2. And so when we talk to TJ, he should say something about the mage. So we should What? Why did that work? Ah, because I haven't. Damn it. Okay, we're at the end of the stream. Let's do a quick run through. Let's do a quick run through. Just to see that it's all working in a row. Okay, blah 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 blah. Blah blah blah. Okay. Yep. I don't know why I'm reading the text. I know what the text says. I need to skip through it. Okay, so we go here. We go to the bar. Oh, I need to we gather our party. We put our party. We go. Go back to the king. Gives us money. Gives us the earth gem. Yeah. We head out. Alright, I'm gonna head out. So look, we can't get to the fire temple anymore. Blocked off. We go to the earth temple. Have our little cutscene. Nice. We fight our way through the temple. We gain hopefully at least 3 levels. We fight the boss. We talk to everyone. We decide we're going to get rid of the cleric. We get the water gem. We head back. They tell us we should go to the bar. We go to the bar. PJ says the healer's gone. We talk to everyone at the bar. It asks us, are we ready to leave? Yes, time for bed. No, I want to chat more. Yep, time for bed. Go back to the inn. Got our party members to talk to. Or not talk to because they're sleeping. We stay. We say, let's go to the king. We talk to the king. We tell him we've beat the Earth Temple. He goes, guys, use my ship. We have access to the ship. We get on the ship. We sail the 7 seas. We reach the water temple. We go in the water temple. We skip the water temple. We enter the door. We beat the boss. We talk. We say, all right, I think the rogue should go. Rogue's gone. We check the inn. It doesn't let us in think a drink would do me good. I want to go to the bar first. Okay, so now TJ, the last member we got rid of was the rogue, so you should say something about the rogue. Only 2 of you left. Hey, where's your rogue? She still owes on her bar tab. Beautiful. Look, she's in a slightly different position than she was before. But she's still just sleeping. Also, the dialogue is still about the Earth Temple. Sounds like that water temple nearly dampened your style. Oh, and also, I copied this trailer, the shapeshifter. So we'll have to fix that. And yeah, it's time for bed. We try to leave. It says, sorry, that's it for tonight. We go back to the inn. Yep. And he says, let's go to talk to the king again. So we go talk to the king. You know, we might do some shopping, buy more weapons, buy new armor. You've conquered the water temple. Yep. Gain access to the fire temple, you will need an airship. I don't have one. Cool. I take it you have the fire gem. Yes. Sweet. And then what does he say? Use my airship to gain access to the fire temple. It will be outside. Cool. Yeah. Never get rid of you. Okay, so when we leave, look at that. There she is. Oh. Why is it through? Ah. Look at, whoa, it's so fast. What the heck? Why is it so fast? Cool. Oh wait, can we land? No. We can't. Oh. Oh, you can land in the water. You can land in the water. Oh yeah, why is the boat gone? Oh no, the boat's there. Oh, it's... Oh. Wait. Oh. We can't access the boat anymore. But I guess you don't need to when you have the airship, right? I should make it that the boat disappears, maybe? Because there's no way... Look, there's no way that I can access the boat anymore. Oops. Anyway. Oh, that's another thing I have to do too. Let's put that in the to-do list. Seal the temple doors. Because you can return to the temple, right? But I don't want you to be able to actually go back into the temple. I want that to be blocked off. Cool, so we have the airship. And look, we have access to the fire temple. Hooray! So, yeah, that's our progress today, guys. So, maybe because you're next to the airship, place the boat back to where we first get it. Yeah, the boat should come back, actually. So I should make it, where is it? We'll get the, oops. This here, copy that. So that will happen after we return. Oh, that's an annoying way to do it. Let's do it after the inn. Left the bar off and return the ship back to its original position. Because technically, yeah, us traveling, it says, you know, you left the water temple and traveled back to the hub town. And the way we would have done that is we would have had to hop on the ship. So the ship should be docked back where it was originally. So thank you for pointing that out. Little Big Poker. Um, what would that put you as? You made a suggestion. Is that like playtesting? How would you credit that? Anyway, we'll put you Little Big Poker. Game advisor, consistency advisor. Yeah, let's just make up titles for you guys. Consistency advisor, Little Big Poker. There you go. Consultant. Ah, see, trailer knows how to run a business. Consultant, Little Big Poker. Awesome. That'll be great. Cool. So yeah, that's it, guys. That's some pretty great progress for today. Yeah, we covered a lot of stuff, a lot of different things. So next stream we'll definitely get to the fire temple, and if we're not too sidetracked by other things, which we probably will be, but we could probably get into building the sky temple as well. But yeah, it's shaping up. I'm definitely seeing lots of learning. Yes, I'm definitely seeing. Yeah, that there's going to be a lot of work, like filling in all these gaps, redoing all these maps. But this game isn't that big. It's really not that big. Like it's still going to be a lot of work, but like, oh, could we have it done by the end of the year? Maybe. I could be overestimating how much effort I'll need to put into the database and things, but yeah, this is cool. This is shaping up. I'm learning a lot about how to set the world up as a beginner. Yeah, and again, this method that I'm using, this building the skeleton, it has its pros, it has its cons. So don't feel like this is the one way to build your game. Still got to add a fishing mini game. It's law that every RPG needs one, for sure, for sure. Um, uh, Programming mini game consultant. Cool. uh, Ideas, man. Um, hmm. Yeah, really, really happy with the progress that we made today. Um, oh, that's right. I'll back up my game when I'm done with the stream. Don't worry. It's gonna be interesting to see how you'll balance the game with the drilling party. Well, that's the thing. I'm making, because you can only access each of the temples, as you go. You can only access each of the temples with a specific number of party members. Yeah, I'm gonna obviously make it, that when you only have two party members, you're not versing, 6 enemies at once, kind of thing. Making later enemies actually weaker, or making each level so strong that it covers the lack of a whole character. Well, yeah, I guess that's the thing to consider as well. Is it the strength of the player, so that the later levels are much stronger? Well, it might be a combination of both really, because the knight's tool set as you progress is definitely going to get wider to cover, whichever. Oh, I have to think about that too, actually. That like I've got to make sure that like you get the healing skill early on, um, in case you get rid of the cleric first. Yeah, that's gonna be interesting. My favorite part was the file organizing. Yeah. But yeah, my thought is like enemies, their level will scale with you still, like they'll have stats for the similar level that you should be by that time. But yeah, it's going to be like the number of enemies in the encounters is going to get less and less. So that way, when you're at the start of the final dungeon where you're just by yourself for a bit before you get your whole party back, um, you'll basically just be having one-on-one, maybe two-on-one battles. My build may matter for the character. Yeah. Yeah, because yeah, I guess yeah, really the only one that I have to tweak the most is probably the knight character, because he's the one that has to keep carrying um yeah, has to keep carrying the team. Or because I want you to I still want you to feel those gaps. You know, that because you got rid of the mage, you know, you can't easily one shot enemies with elemental magic. Um, what if the party member doesn't want to get sacked? Do we fight and force them if that's an option? Well, that's the thing. I could make the dialogue progress, right? So when it first starts, and you have to when you at the first temple giving up your characters, they're all kind of reluctant to volunteer themselves. But then as it goes on, they're just like, well, we're so close to getting the treasure, like, and we need this treasure. We like every character in the party, they all have their own motivations for wanting this treasure, and like they're all important reasons, or at least important to them, reasons to them. So they all have this motivation of like, well, this sucks that we have to, you know, keep giving ourselves up, but we need to do it because we need to get this treasure. Like we have no other choice, kind of thing. Still going to be an issue, even if Knight has all these skills the other members had. You can still only use one skill per turn, so you can't heal and damage for the single character. The late game might get increasingly boring, as you know, just spam heal and attack. Yeah, um, well, that's the thing. Like the section that you do with the player just by themselves, like it's going to be shorter. It's going to be shorter than like it's only going to be like one sort of a challenge section where you kind of go through and fight some enemies by yourself, and then you'll get your full party back. So it's just going to be a little bit, you know, like it's not going to be like a full temple that you have to tackle on your own. Um, but yeah, and I guess that's why I want it to be short as well, so that you're not, yeah, you know, if this was like an 80-hour RPG and you had to spend like 10 hours with a single character, like, or only two characters, that could get annoying. But because this is going to be relatively brief, I hope, you know, we'll see how we go when we start building that in and playtesting it. And Underfloor Challenge Arena with just one character. Um, and this is the thing, right? You know, if I had spent more time in the design document part of game design, I could have thought more about these possibilities, right? And these problems, and tried to solve them. And for some of you, that might be the way that you need to work. For others, you may need to do this, where you just start making the game, because if you just, you know, tried to plan for every kind of variable, you might just burn yourself out in the planning phase and never actually start making the game. Reminds me of that section of Fire Emblem Echoes where the main character has to fight, spoilers, enemies by himself for a bit before joining with the others again. So the player has to make sure to build that main character. Yeah. Yeah, that's how my chaotic brain operates. I just start making shit. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, you know, yeah, there has to be a point where you need to stop planning and you need to start making. Because yeah, you can just sit in that planning phase forever, and you could completely scrap ideas because you think it through too much and you go, oh, this actually seems way out of scope. This seems like I would not be able to do this. Whereas, you know, I'm making this as I go. I'm coming across roadblocks. I've got you guys in chat. I've got my own brain to problem solve as I go, and you know we're making the game. It's coming together, and so yeah, sometimes it's just you just gotta wait until you reach that bridge before you cross it. Um, and that's part of the fun. That's part of the fun of of game dev. You know, like I didn't realize the problems we were going to come up against just trying to do those branching options of, you know, is this party member still with you? And then we had that dialogue box that kept popping up afterwards. You know, you can't account for everything, so you just need to start making and just tackle things as you go. That's why I struggle so much with my skill trees. They require planning, and I'm no good with that. Yeah, and again, that's why I wanted to make the scope of this small, because yeah, it's, you know, for a stream, um, for my own sanity, yeah, if I started implementing really complicated systems, you know, because even this, you know, there's 4 characters and it dwindling down, and you know, making sure that we don't even know if every kind of, and this could be some built-in difficulty, right? Is that, you know, there's going to be certain combinations of characters that you keep that actually make it easier to get through the game, and then there'll be character combinations that are much harder but hopefully more rewarding, you know. um you know, trying to strategize with the limited characters that you have. So, you know, emergent gameplay, you know, things, you know, these are things that you can't necessarily write down in a design document. They just sort of come as you start designing the game. Lots of things to consider, which is fun. This is so much fun. And again, this is meant to be simple, guys. This is meant to be simple. So I hope you're seeing that even a simple game can become quite complicated. But guys, uh, yeah, I got to wrap it up. I gotta go to bed. Sometimes text for skills trees has a lot of words rivaling a Yu-Gi-Oh card description, in my opinion. So I can understand just making it really simple. Yeah. But also complicated skill systems can be really fun when you're making up synergies and all that kind of stuff. It can be really interesting and cool. Um, yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate everyone that's been here in the stream tonight. All y'all in the chat, really appreciate it. Lurkers as well, greatly appreciate your presence. Uh, Yu-Gi-Oh has no rules. Yeah. And yeah, we had a great stream. I really appreciate everyone that was here. So just a reminder, guys, these streams are on every Tuesday and Thursday, and depending on how my week's going, if I find that I have time to do extra streams, I will do them, because I really enjoy working on this game, but I only want to do it on stream. So yeah, I'm definitely always looking for more opportunities to do it. If you're interested, I do another type of stream on Mondays where I play itch.io games, random ones suggested to me by the devs of those games. And um, yeah, it's a lot of fun. And it's just a way for me to try and give some exposure, as small as it is, to indie game devs. Have a good night, morning, everyone. Thanks, you too, Little Big Poker. And yeah, that's it, guys. Have a good night. Have a great week and a great weekend. And I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.